My sister agreed to babysit my 9-month-old for 3 hours. I came back early and the baby was gone. She left her with a guy she matched with on Tinder and left. I didn't scream. I did this. 3 days later, my sister opened her laptop and started screaming. I had a dentist appointment. Not life-threatening. Just one of those things you put off until chewing starts to feel like work. It wasn't even supposed to take the full 3 hours. But I figured I'd pad in a little time in case the waiting room had opinions. My sister Tiffany said she'd watch the baby. 2 to 3 hours max. She'd done it before once or twice without incident. I left a bottle in the fridge, instructions on the counter, wipes in the drawer, pacifier on the shelf, and my child, my entire world, safe in her arms. Or so I thought. I walked to the appointment. It was only a few blocks away. When I was done, they told me I was early for once and sent me out with a numb cheek and a free toothbrush. I texted Tiffany, heading back a bit sooner, all good? No answer. I called. No answer. I figured she was being a responsible babysitter. Phone on silent. Eye contact with the baby. Gold star. I got home 10 minutes later. Unlocked the door. Stepped into an empty apartment. No voices. No footsteps. Just stillness. I called out. Tiff. Nothing. I checked the living room. Kitchen. Bedroom. Nothing. The stroller was by the door. The diaper bag untouched. Okay, maybe a walk. Maybe she carried the baby for once. It's been done before. I waited 5 minutes. Then 10. Texted again. Called again. Nothing. My heart didn't drop all at once. It crept downward slowly, like it didn't want to alarm me. I tried to keep my head straight. She's probably just in a dead zone. Maybe they stopped by a neighbor's. Maybe they're just around the corner. Then I remembered. My baby doesn't go anywhere without her blanket. It was still in the crib. I dialed again. Straight to voicemail. Then again. And again. By the time Tiffany picked up, I had imagined 2 kidnappings, a trip to the ER, and a bear. Hey, she said like I'd interrupted something. What's up? What's up? I'm home. Where are you? Oh, I'm almost there. I'm coming up now. I ran down the stairs and flung open the front door. And there she was. Alone. No stroller. No diaper bag. No baby. Just Tiffany. Empty-handed. I stared at her like I couldn't understand what I was seeing. Because I couldn't. I had given her a baby. She was supposed to still have the baby. Where is she? I asked. My voice sounded strange. Like it came from someone else. Tiffany looked blank. She's upstairs. No, I said. She's not. There was a second where she didn't get it. Then her face changed. Wait, are you serious? Oh my God. No, she's with Mike. I blinked. Who the hell is Mike? He's just a friend. I left her with him for like 10 minutes. I told him I'd be right back. I was already halfway back up the stairs. Tiffany followed, talking fast. He's a really good friend, I swear. He lives right around the corner. It's not like I left her with a stranger or something. I stopped at the top. Text him now. She took out her phone. Open Tinder. I stared. Tinder. I said. You're texting him through Tinder? Oh my God, it's not what it looks like, she said. We matched a while ago, but we're just friends now. We're just using the app to chat. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I just looked at her like I was trying to decide if I'd actually gone insane. Started typing. I could see the message. Hey, are you still with her? I'm back now. The little dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then came back. Tiffany stared at the screen like she could force him to reply faster. I stood behind her, holding my breath and not knowing why. It was maybe 30 seconds. Probably less. Felt like 5 years. Then finally the message popped up. I waited for a while, but you didn't come. Had to go. Left her with my flatmates at mine. All good. I didn't speak. I didn't blink. I just turned to Tiffany and said, where? She blinked back at me. What? Where does he live? No. Which building? Oh, it's really close, just around the... Show me. I was already halfway to the door. She grabbed her phone and ran after me. We ran. I was ahead of her, barely hearing her feet behind me. I turned onto his street. Every step felt like gravity was failing. And then I heard her. A baby's cry. Loud. My daughter. I slammed my fist into the door. A guy opened it. 19, maybe 20. Not Mike. He blinked at me. The baby is here, he said. I walked past him. The apartment looked like every college apartment I've ever regretted entering. Mismatched furniture. Takeout boxes. A chair with no back. The smell of something burnt and something sprayed to cover what was burnt. And in the middle of the living room, on a carpet that had definitely seen things, was my daughter. Sitting. Alone. Screaming. Her face was blotchy. Her shirt soaked. Her fists clenched and flailing. One guy was crouched next to her holding a bag of frozen peas. We thought maybe she was warm? Or teething. Another guy waved a TV remote at her. Beep beep. Rocket ship. A third was sitting cross-legged on the floor tapping on a pizza box. She liked the sound. Before she started crying. I picked her up. She tensed when I touched her, then clung so tightly I thought her tiny arms would snap. None of them stopped me. One of them said, Mike said it was just for 10 minutes. Another added, he said you were just coming right back. The last guy shrugged. Why would someone leave a baby with people they don't even know? He had a point. I held my baby closer. Then turned around, walked out and shut the door behind me. 3 days later my sister opened her laptop and started screaming. When I was 9, my parents sat me down and told me I'd be a big sister soon. I remember my mom saying, she's going to need you. You're the big one now. It was the first time I heard that. It wouldn't be the last. From the day Tiffany was born I was drafted into the support squad. Not in a sweet let's bond over dolls kind of way. More like, take her while I make dinner, or, she looks up to you, act like it. I was a child with a job. And I did it. I really did. I helped with bottles. I read to her. I gave up things. I learned not to expect praise, just responsibility. By the time I hit university I'd gotten good at surviving on very little. There wasn't much help from home. They covered a few textbooks. Maybe some groceries once or twice. But mostly I worked. I studied. I didn't sleep much. I remember calling my mom once asking for help with rent after a freelance check came late. She said, well, you chose that path. Then she asked how Tiffany was doing. I graduated in computer science and took the first job that would have me. Then another. Eventually I found my footing in freelance development. Less stable but more flexible. Which mattered because by then I was married and trying to build a life that didn't feel like one long stretch of obligation. Then I got pregnant. And my parents called again. Tiffany wants to apply for university, my dad said. She's not like you, she's not good under pressure. What he meant was she can't do what you did. So could I help? I didn't say yes right away. But I didn't say no. And once that door was open the rest followed. At first it was just the first semester's tuition. Then books. Then living expenses. I was already working full-time while pregnant, juggling deadlines and doctor's appointments, trying not to drop the ball on either. Once the baby came I cut back slightly but not much. I kept enough clients to cover childcare and still send money to Tiffany. Because, of course, childcare was too expensive and if we wanted Tiffany to study in peace I'd have to keep working while raising a newborn. Somewhere in there I set up a college fund for her in my name. I told myself it was the fair thing. I had savings. I could handle it. She started calling less. Just texts now and then. Can I use the card for this? Can you cover that? And every month I did. Because we're family. Because she's younger. Because I was taught that helping her is what makes me good. But the deal, unspoken as it was, always included trust. I wasn't doing this because I'm wealthy or generous or saintly. I was doing this because I believed she respected me enough not to abuse it. That belief died in my hallway when I turned my key and found my apartment empty. And it stayed dead as she stood in front of me, smiling without a baby, claiming everything was fine. I didn't scream. I didn't fall apart. I just went still. And later that night when my daughter was sleeping in my arms, I opened my laptop and did the math. I didn't guess. I opened every invoice, every transfer. 3 years of savings. Gone. Tuition, rent, books. Gone. The emergency account in my name she'd been drawing from. Gone. All in it was over $28,000. And I'd still been planning to send more, thinking I was investing in her future. Not anymore. I canceled every standing transfer. I moved what was left out of the shared account. I deleted the shared budget doc. I archived every receipt, screenshot, message. I didn't send her a long text. I didn't post a rant. I just stopped. Because at some point you don't keep explaining why the knife hurts. You just pull it out. I expected Tiffany to call. Honestly, I thought I'd be dodging texts for the next 24 hours. I was ready for "you're overreacting," or "you made your point," or maybe a long string of crying emojis followed by a photo of her empty fridge. What I wasn't ready for was my mother. My phone rang just before 10. I was holding my daughter in one arm and a cup of tea in the other, still running on fumes and adrenaline. I saw the name and almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. "Lauren," she said, sharp and breathless. "What did you do to your sister?" I blinked. "Good morning." She opened her laptop and started screaming. "What did you do?" Took me a second. Then I remembered. I'd forgotten to mentally prepare for the grand finale. The account freezes. The payment cancellations. The part where reality taps her on the shoulder. "I'm not supporting her anymore," I said. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've been bankrolling her since she was 15. And I'm not doing it anymore. She's your sister. She left my child with a stranger from Tinder. She made a mistake. She made a choice. And now I'm making mine." There was a pause. Just long enough for me to consider hanging up. "She needs that money, Lauren. I need a babysitter I can trust. I need to be able to leave the house without wondering if my daughter is going to be handed off like lost luggage." She didn't mean. "I'm not interested in her intentions. I'm interested in the consequences." Another breath. Then, "What about the college fund?" I stared at the wall. "What about it?" "You set that aside for her. And now I'm unsetting it. I've reprioritized. You can't just take it back. It was in my name. It still is. And now it's going toward childcare. You're punishing her. She endangered my daughter. That money was for her future." "Exactly. And she's made it very clear that she doesn't care about mine. You'll regret this." I hung up. No slam. No flourish. Just a quiet, clean disconnect. Tiffany's text started about an hour later. "I was being silly, I know. I wasn't thinking. But it's your baby. She's your responsibility. You asked me to babysit and something came up. I didn't just ditch her. She was with someone safe. You're making such a big deal out of this. It's not like anything happened." I didn't answer right away. I sat on the floor watching my daughter playing with plastic cups with all the focus of an Olympic athlete. Eventually I wrote, "You're right. She's my responsibility. Just like your education is yours. I won't be sending any more money." She responded in seconds. "Wait, seriously? Come on, this is ridiculous. We're family. You'll get over it. You always do. Just come back when you're normal again. You'll regret this." I didn't reply. But this time I felt something different. Not anger. Not guilt. Clarity. For a while. The house was quiet. I focused on work. Made pasta. Took my daughter to the park. Watched her discover grass like it was a rare mineral. No more texts. No calls. Just that weird stillness that comes after a storm. Until 3 days later my phone rang again. This time with a name I didn't expect. One of my clients. A guy I'd worked with a while. We weren't close, but he was consistent. Reliable. No drama. "Hey," he said, voice low. "This is going to sound strange. But is everything okay?" My stomach tensed. "I think so." "Why?" He exhaled. "I got a weird message. From someone named Tiffany. Said she was your sister." I went still. "She said I should be careful working with you," he added. "That you're unstable? That you cut people off and aren't trustworthy in a professional setting." I didn't say anything. "She mentioned my younger brother," he continued. "They were in the same course last year. So I guess that's how she found me." Of course. That was how I'd met him in the first place, through a workshop his brother attended. I'd forgotten she even knew his name. "I didn't respond," he said. "Just thought you should know." I thanked him and hung up. Then I just stood there. She'd gone there. After everything, she was now trying to torch the one thing I'd built. My actual job. My reputation. While I was juggling deadlines and teething and trying to afford diapers without crying at checkout, she was busy sending petty little warning messages to my clients. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just opened LinkedIn. And there was a post. Public. No names but no effort to hide it either. Some people will pretend to support you only to pull the rug out when it matters most. It read. Don't trust family just because they're family. I'm starting over from scratch, but I'd rather struggle than stay quiet. 34 likes. A few heart emojis. 1. So proud of you. We had mutual connections. Cousin. A few people from university. One of my client's interns apparently. By noon the messages had started. Hey, I saw something. Just wanted to check in. Hope everything's okay. I didn't reply to any of them. I didn't post anything either. But I took screenshots. And then I googled the name of that lawyer my friend once mentioned in a group chat. The one who handled professional defamation. And I sent an email. I didn't know what I expected when I emailed the lawyer. Maybe a polite auto-reply, maybe silence. What I didn't expect was a phone call that same afternoon. He was calm. Professional. Friendly even. But within 5 minutes he confirmed what I already suspected. I had a case. Tiffany may not have used your name, he said, but when you're professionally connected and she's making public statements, plus reaching out to people in your orbit, it starts to look deliberate. If it affects your livelihood, we could have a case. He drafted a letter. Brief, formal, and brutal. He gave her the option to delete, retract, and never do it again, or deal with the consequences. I read it twice and said, send it. He sent it to her house. Our parents' house. Because of course she still lived there. I didn't have to wait long. The knock on the door came 2 days later. It wasn't Tiffany. It was our mother. Hair still damp from the shower, cheeks flushed, eyes narrowed like she was trying to physically stab me with her gaze. She didn't wait for an invitation. She walked in like she still lived there, like this was 2006 and I was the teenage disappointment coming home past curfew. What the hell are you doing? She said, not even pretending to soften it. I closed the door behind her. Good morning. You're threatening your sister with a lawsuit? I blinked. Yes. She threw her arms up. She's devastated. I'm sure she is. Publicly slandering someone tends to carry consequences. She was venting. She was making phone calls to my client. Then she put it in writing. That's not venting, that's sabotage. She didn't use your name. She didn't have to. She paced the kitchen like a courtroom drama character, arms folded, breath shallow. You think this is helping anything? You think this is healthy? I tilted my head. You mean after the part where she nearly got my baby hurt and then tried to destroy my career? She's your sister. She's also a liability. She's young. She's 18. I was living alone, studying full-time and working nights when I was 18. Don't tell me she's too young to know not to post a passive-aggressive takedown of the one person who's been keeping her afloat. He stopped pacing. I don't recognize you, she said quietly. I smiled, but it didn't reach anything. That's funny. I finally recognize me. She shook her head. This is going to tear the family apart. No. The part where she left my baby with strangers tore it apart. This is just cleanup. She didn't say goodbye. She just left. And for once I didn't feel like chasing her down or calling after her or trying to soften the blow. I went back to work. A few days later the post disappeared. No apology. No correction. Just quietly removed. That evening I got a text. Happy now. I stared at it. Something in my chest tugged like it was trying to feel something. But there was nothing left to feel. I blocked her. Then I blocked my mother. Weeks passed. The silence was weird. Not peaceful exactly. Just empty. Like waiting for something to explode and realizing, eventually, the detonation already happened. And then one afternoon, a number I didn't recognize popped up on my phone. Voicemail. It was my mother. I've been cooking for Sunday, just the usual. Are you bringing the baby? I didn't call back. I texted instead. No, we won't be coming. 5 minutes later. Why not? I took a breath. Because I don't want people around my daughter who think endangering her is just a mistake. She didn't reply. I didn't follow up. Time passed. The kind that stretches and bends and gets lost in piles of laundry and nap schedules and Slack notifications you answer half asleep. My daughter learned how to clap. Then how to wave. Then how to crawl out of the room while pretending she wasn't. Sometimes I still caught myself checking the blocked list. Not to unblock, just to see if I still meant it. I did. Tiffany of course kept posting. The party photos dried up. The tone shifted. No more velvet dresses or vodka cranberry shots lined up on sticky tables. Now it was half-empty coffee cups, bad lighting, and captions like, "Grind, don't stop," and "Doing what needs to be done even when no one claps." She didn't mention me. Not directly. But I knew what she meant. There were long, vague threads about betrayal. About people who pull support just when you start finding yourself. About how we all make mistakes, and no one should be punished forever. Some of it sounded like she was talking to herself. Some of it didn't. Then I heard my mother had gone back to work. Took a second to believe it. This was the woman who'd celebrated early retirement with champagne and a cruise brochure. She used to brag about sleeping in until 9. Now she was working again. Part-time. Picking up shifts at her old office. I saw it on my aunt's Facebook. Just a casual comment, something about how she's such a good mother, and doing whatever it takes. At first I thought maybe it was boredom. Restlessness. Then I heard about the mortgage. They took one out on the house. A new mortgage. At their age. To support Tiffany. She couldn't afford rent and tuition and bills now that she was working fewer hours. She was trying to study, I was told. Trying to stay on track. So they stepped in. They hadn't stepped in for me. When I started uni, the best they could offer was a secondhand textbook and a wish for good luck. I juggled 2 part-time jobs, 3 housemates, and a growing ulcer. But for Tiffany, a mortgage. Maybe a medal if she cries loud enough. It wasn't just the hypocrisy. It was the confirmation. They'd made their choice a long time ago. And now, finally, so had I. These days I work fewer hours. I still get messages from people asking if I'm available for a rush job, a referral, a last-minute coding rescue. Sometimes I say yes. Sometimes I don't. The world didn't fall apart when I stopped being everyone's safety net. Turns out the edges hold just fine. My daughter, my girl, has started saying words now. Not many. Just enough to leave me stunned on the kitchen floor some days, holding a spoon midair like I forgot what it was for. I get more time with her. More time with my husband. More time to notice that I laugh more now. I haven't spoken to Tiffany since. Or my mother. I'm not sure I ever will. And that silence. Still there. Still strange. But I think I've stopped expecting the explosion. Maybe I've finally learned. It already happened. And I'm still standing. Did I go too far, or not far enough? Leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell.